Sound. Transition. And hello, everyone. How are you doing, Mama?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing all right. Have you been up to anything exciting since last time?
A few minutes ago, the weather siren came on, so of course I had to go out on the porch and look around at all the sunniness, and then shortly after that, like a minute or two, the rain started, even though it was still kind of sunny around.
Hmm.
And then the siren stopped.
That is kind of weird that the sirens were there actual like severe weather
Um, there
warnings?
was a I saw earlier where we had a tornado watch until like 9 o'clock tonight, and I looked at the radar at the time of the when the sirens were on, and there was just, like, this little teeny spot
Hmm. Yeah, it
over the
does.
town.
It does look like there's a current tornado warning. Hazardous weather outlook. We didn't
Yeah,
share any like location information, did we?
no,
Accidentally. Okay, good.
but, yeah, when I was out on the porch, someone from across the yard or from across the road hollered out, "You see anything?" I said, "Nope, just the sirens going off and everybody coming out on their porches."
That's not what you're supposed to do when those sirens go off.
You do here.
Yeah. I have been. Um. I guess was there anything before I share stuff that I've been up to? Was there anything else you wanted to share about that?
Nope, that was it.
Yeah, I have been trying to look at houses to rent and move to.
Nice.
And
Finding anything promising?
we did find a couple of houses that we looked at today that we thought were really nice.
Oh, that's good.
Unfortunately, we don't move for 2 months, so
Right.
um, they are probably going to be taken between now and then. So that's a little disappointing. Unless there's something that I can do to like lock those in for like 2 months, but I doubt it. I probably have to just um get them early and then just have the overlap. Which I like
Yeah,
an overlap between the end of my current lease and the beginning of the next one, but like a week. I don't think I need anything longer than that.
right.
Um, so figuring that out is going to be a bit of a mess. And then I might be a little loud because I have the mic a little closer to me. What happens if I turn this down here? Am I still decently volumed? Can you hear me fine?
I'm I mean, I can hear you fine.
Yeah. Did you even notice a difference?
Not really.
Yeah. I can tell a little bit of a difference on the little audio thing down here on OBS. So, but yeah. But yeah, we do have to commit to whether we're going to move or stay here at the end of this month. So, um, that's kind of scary because all of the places we've been looking at, I don't think we're gonna be able to go to or move into. Although it would be nice if we could. But yeah, gotta get that figured out. But we've still got a week to get that figured out, and
Yeah.
yeah. So aside from that, I now have a pop filter on my microphone and a mesh cover. So hopefully the audio quality is a little bit better. But there's not much I can do about the fact that I have an AC unit in this room. So and the audio is just absolutely awful. The noise subtraction graph is quite significant. But yeah, I have no idea how I would make my audio sound anywhere near as good if I didn't have the noise subtraction that I do. But it is not automatic, and I've been looking at more automatic stuff, and apparently that's all like for After Effects, so not your live stuff. So, kind of out of luck on that regard. Unless somebody has like some type of freeware plugin for audio that they're aware of. But that is all of the things that I have been up to. So, anything else you want to talk about before we head over to Sudoku?
Nope, that was it.
All right,
That was the
then.
only exciting thing in my life.
All right. Well, let's get over to our first puzzle. So, we are going to do World a Tuning Fork by Philip Bloom, aka Glum Hippo. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Battenberg, wherever a 2x2 area consists of 2 odd and 2 even digits in a checkerboard pattern, a little checkerboard symbol is marked. And zipper lines, digits in cells that are an equal number of steps from the midpoint of a lavender line must sum to the digit on the midpoint, marked by a lavender dot. All right. So let's get this one started. And a link in the chat for anyone who wants to give this puzzle a try themselves. And, yeah. Well, we've got these 4 right here, which I'm pretty sure 1, 2, 3, yeah. So these 2 and those 2 have to match up in order to be this, but that just means it's minimum 5. So I think all of these bigger tuning forks are minimum 5.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all going to be the same as those. Or, well, no. These are going to have the same parity as those. And we've got another one over here.
Ah, in box 9, the center of the zipper
Mm.
is opposite parity from one of that doesn't mean anything, because if it's odd, then the other one's yellow. But if it's even, the other one's purple, so.
Yeah. In box 6, we've got 2 purple squares on the end of this tuning fork. So because
That's
of
even.
that, yeah. And we know that because 2 odd digits is even, and 2 even digits are even.
In box 4,
Good evening, Brian.
if purple is even,
Hmm.
then the other side of that zipper cannot also be even because that would make 5 evens.
Okay. So that proves that this has to be odd then, right?
Well, if purple is odd, oh yeah, if purple is odd,
Yeah,
then the
because
zipper is even.
oh, but then we would have 4 purples, but only 2 yellows. We wouldn't run out. So purple just can't be even here.
Right.
If these are also purple.
But those could be odd, right.
Yeah. So then that wouldn't be a problem. Something to keep in mind for the future, but
Sounds like the siren just came on again, I
I
think.
don't hear it. I don't hear it through your mic, so
Well, it's not
I
very
cannot
loud. I'm gonna open
confirm.
the door and
Yeah.
yeah, it's on again. Clearly, I'm not overly concerned.
Hmm.
I would be likely to be outside.
I feel like box 1, we have some information in order to decide what's going on. So since we know that the checkerboard that we have here. Oh, wait a second. The Battenberg rule, wherever a 2x2 area consists of 2 odd and 2 even digits in a checkerboard pattern, a little checkerboard symbol is marked. So wherever that is not happening, so like right
Oh, that's
here,
gotta be purple.
yeah, that's a negative constraint.
Right.
So unfortunately, we don't know about this one. But do we know enough about these two to know what purple is? Because if this is yellow and that is yellow, then they would both have to be odd to make this even. But if these two are different, then these are both purple.
In box 6,
Is this odd either way?
I don't know.
No, that could be even. No, because they're both odd. Anyway, you were going to say something about box 6. We'll think more about
Yeah.
box 1 in a little bit.
Cells 2 and 4 are the same parity.
That's true.
Now, if those are purple,
Then we would have to put purple here, wouldn't we?
purple there, and then purple would have to be odd.
Uh-huh. Oh, but a
If
problem with
they're
that,
yellow, right, then
we would
that
get more checkboards.
it breaks that.
So then these have to be yellow with a purple here. Because we
Either
just.
way, it's gotta be purple, because if those are both purple, that one's purple. If those are both yellow, then that one's purple.
If they're both purple, then we get checkerboards we're not allowed.
Right.
So they can't both be purple. They must be yellow. I
But
don't know if
either
that
way,
has
that
to be
corner
purple
well,
in
either
this instance.
oh, right, because it's not part of the checkerboard.
Yeah. And we don't know whether or not yellow's even. If it's even, then we know that.
Right. But there is a checkerboard on that yellow.
There is. That's going to give us those. And now that means that these two are the same, aren't they? Because if they were different... Well, this could be purple and that one yellow. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I shouldn't put orange here because orange indicates
Odd.
evenness. Or, yeah, oddness. So blue and gray. Now, if this one is even, and this is even, then these are both purple. No. Then this would be even. So that wouldn't be allowed. So if this is odd, and that's even, this would be odd. But if this is even, this would have to be odd in order to make this one odd. I meant even.
Odd. Yeah, I was going to say, you just said that backwards.
Yeah. So if this is even, in order to make those different, this would have to be odd. Wait, no, that's... Wait, hold on. If this is a 4, I could make this a 3, but then this would be odd. I could make this a 4, but then this would be even. And so they wouldn't be different. So if this was even, these could not be different. Because if this was even, then that would be even, and if this was odd, then that would be odd. So this must be odd. And therefore these must be even. Okay. Oh, we know this one's even. These two are different.
And it gives us a 4th purple.
Mm-hmm. Which means that purple that's not enough to tell us that purple couldn't be odd. Because
No.
I could go purple, yellow, and then the rest yellow. I don't form any checkerboards.
No.
Purple and yellow. And those are an odd pair. That's an odd pair. And then those are irrelevant because they go with this one. And then since those are odd and those are odd, that's odd. So that's not a problem. Now, if I did purple here, then this would also have to be purple. But then this would have to be even. And I wouldn't have any checkerboards. Get a yellow there.
Right, so
I can have it go either way. But that means that these two are the same, doesn't it? Because if this is purple, then that's purple. And if this is yellow, then that's purple. these are now different, so this is odd.
How did you figure
These
out
would have
even
to
and
be
odd in box 1?
because of this one. Let's say I made this a 4,
Right.
and let's call this 3. Well, then what would this one be?
Odd.
But these have to be different parity.
Oh, right.
So then let's try a 4. They're the same parity. So I can't make this a 4 and these different parity.
Right.
And because it wasn't because it was a 4, it was because it was even. Then this one has to be odd.
Okay.
Does that mean the same thing is true here? That if I made this even, say it's a 4, and then this one, a 4 would make that an 8, and a 3 would make that a 7, this one has to be odd? Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Because if this is odd, let's say it's a 3, then I can make this odd, and this would be even, or I can make this even, and that would be odd. So yeah, that has to be true. So this must be odd. Have we gotten far enough to know anything else along those lines? No, because the only reason we knew that is because of the sum. The fact that it was on a dot. And that the dot had to be, the center of the zipper line had to be different than the endpoint.
In box 1, we have 3 evens and 3 odds represented by color.
True.
So there have to be 2 odds left. If they are both on the zipper line, if those were both odd,
Then that would be even.
that would have to be even.
And that would be even as well.
Okay, so that wouldn't form a...
What if these were different? So if they were a yellow-purple pair, then the only way they get different is if that was odd and that was even.
Right.
Or these are both odd. Yeah, either these are both odd and that's even, or these are both odd and that's even. But I could put both odds there, or I can put an odd even in either direction. So I don't think there's enough information there. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4 odds. So you've got one there, one there, one there, and that one for sure. So one of those two is odd, the other's even. But that's not enough information. Okay. I guess one thing I should have considered is the fact that I cannot put odd above even. So if this is odd, that has to be odd. Because I'd make a checkerboard.
Right.
Now I also can't make a checkerboard here. So if these are different, so that would be even and odd. Well, that
means yellow is odd.
immediately breaks the possible problem here. And if these are both odd, yeah. Oh, wait a second. That just means this is odd, doesn't it? Because in order to make this even, I have to make this yellow. But if I made yellow even, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 evens.
Right.
So this must be odd in order to prevent an issue.
Right.
And since this is odd, this one up here is purple. And if purple... Since I have 1, 2, 3 odds and 2 evens, and I have 2 unknown, if purple is even, then it pairs with green to be finished. Or if purple is odd, then it pairs with orange to be done with the odds. So this digit over here must be yellow. Because if it wasn't, then I would have too many purples, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th even, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6th odd.
Okay, well, those 3 that were left had to be 2 of the same, and yellow and purple are different.
Yes. Yeah, the yellow and purple on the
So that
left
could still
side and the yellow and
be either
purple on
yellow
the
or
right side
purple.
are separate. Oh, these two are different. Wait. Did I forget to remove this?
Apparently.
Oh, I think I was maybe walking through something here. And I had forgotten. So if this was yellow and that one was purple, then this one would also be yellow. And then this one would be odd. So then this would have to be yellow. Right?
Yes.
And if this one is purple, then that one's purple, and then that would have to be yellow anyway. So that's yellow in both instances. Because if this is yellow, then that ends up being yellow. Yeah, so that's yellow regardless. This one is the same as this one, regardless.
Right.
And if these are... If blue ends up being yellow, then the corner is yellow. Wait, no, it's just odd. But if this is purple, then it's odd. Or no, even. And yellow is even. So this one's yellow regardless, but we don't know what blue is.
Right, but look at column 3. There are 3 purple. Fourth purple is represented in the blue-black.
Yeah. So then these two are yellow then.
Yes.
Because of the odd. Because the 3 purple, the 4th purple, and an odd means I cannot have any more yellows.
Right.
Because if
Or any
yellow
more
is
purple.
odd... But yeah, that's what I meant, sorry. Any more purple, because if purple is odd, then because there are 4 purples and the extra odd, then we're done with odds. And if purple's even, well, then there are 4 purples, and there's no more evens. So then those have to be yellow.
Okay, well, if you follow up that zipper, the gray,
Uh-huh.
opposite gray on the zipper is yellow. Wrong zipper. The long one.
Uh-huh.
Go up one. Gray pairs with yellow. And yellow is going to, if you go up and there's a yellow, it's going to pair with gray. So then you can get yellow and gray around that checkerboard between boxes 5 and 8.
5 and
Or well,
8. Oh, I see.
or you can do it yellow and blue because we don't know if yellow and gray are the same or different.
Right. But we do know that blue and gray are different.
Right.
And I should probably make the yellows and purples on the right side of the grid different as well. So how about they're black? And
Silver.
I kind of want to swap it out for red.
Okay.
Just because silver is difficult to see.
Right. All right, row 6. There are 2 gray, 2 blue, a red and a black, and an odd.
So that's 4 odds. Unfortunately, we don't know whether or not yellow's odd or even.
But wouldn't that have to be a yellow-purple pair?
True. Because 1, 2, 3, 4. If yellow is odd, then that's the last odd, and then that makes that purple. And if it's even, well, then I need one more odd, and odd would be purple. And I kind of needed purple and blue to pair up together along
right,
this.
yeah.
So this one makes that purple.
That's 4 purple in column 4.
And blue can't be purple. I'd make a checkerboard. So blue is yellow, which means gray is purple. To avoid the checkerboard here.
Right.
And now this is odd.
Column 4, there are 4 purple. We know green is even. Purple is odd.
I almost tried to make everything odd. 6, 8. And now this can't be green, because then it would be a checkerboard, which isn't allowed there. Oh, this is red, isn't it? Because I have odd. Yeah, that's red.
Yeah.
I should have had that a long time ago. But now this one, because these are different,
They're
makes
even
this
and odd. That's odd. Well,
And
so we can do the red, yeah, black.
at least one of those has to be odd. But it can't be all of them. Because if it was
Right.
all of them, I'd put a couple of evens there. So one of those is an even pair, and the other's an odd pair. Purple and yellow. If purple was
Well,
odd,
purple cannot be black.
why not?
Oh, no, never mind. I was wrong.
Okay. If purple was odd, approaching a checkerboard, then this would have to also be odd. But if that was even, it wouldn't matter. It would just mean that had to be red. I think. Well, I don't know.
Okay, if purple is odd,
Yeah.
that's odd. If purple is green, it doesn't matter. But then the yellow,
Would make that yellow, I think. Or would it make it red? So we'd have 4 odds. Oh, well, yellow. Well, no, yellow would be even.
if yellow is even, the
Yeah.
center square has to be red.
Unless black is even.
Right. Oh, right, yeah.
Although then it would have to be red anyway. Because I wouldn't have room for another even. So if this is all even, then that would be red, which would be odd. But if these are even, that's odd, which made it odd anyway. And then that was even. So if this is odd, we get odd, even, even, and the odd up there.
Whatever it is, the center digit. Well,
if
no.
we get evens and odds, if that was even, that would be odd. But if that was odd, then that would be even. And then we get an odd up there. I'm losing track of all the options, and it's probably not
Yeah, I am.
the direction to look at either. Oh, well, this is odd. So these are different. Which means those are different. Those are different. Those are different. Oh, well, if these two are different, that's the last even. The rest of this is odd. And I already have 4 evens, so that's odd and even. Okay, we know that this one is even. And because this is even, what can this be? I think it has to be black, doesn't it? Because if this was a 4, and that was an 8, then that would be a 4. If this was a 4 and a 7, that would be 3. So yeah, these two have to be the same because that one ended up being even, and now I can't make that red. This must be black. And now I have 4 black squares in column 8. But I don't have an odd to go with it.
Right.
2 odds, 2 evens. A third odd and even. A fourth black square. And yellow. Well, then that makes this purple, doesn't it? Because if I just count the black squares, I have 1, 2, and then black is either odd, which makes it 4, or even, which makes it 4. And so yellow is... If yellow is black, then it's the last odd. If yellow is red, then red has 1, 2, 4. I could do another yellow. Except, if yellow is red, and I put a yellow here, okay. I guess the question here is yellow black? If it is, then that makes 5 black squares. Because black is either odd or even. And if yellow is also black, then yellow it must be odd, and black must be odd, and that makes 5 odds. And then I get a pair of evens here. If yellow is red, then there are 4 reds. Again, 2 from over here, and then yellow and red, which makes 4. Then yellow is different from black, and this would have to be black here. But that means this is purple. Because if these two are the same, then I've run out. Then they're odd. And if they're different, then this one cannot be the same as yellow, because yellow and black are different.
Right.
So that one is purple. And because this one's purple, that one's purple. But now we know that those two are different, so it doesn't matter that those are the same. If these are the same, they're odd. And then I have 4 odds. But it won't matter because those would be an odd-even pair. But if those are even... Oh, wait a second. Are yellow and black the same? Or wait, no. Is black always odd? Because if yellow is even, then black could not be even with yellow. So black would be odd. If yellow and black are the same, or excuse me, if yellow is odd, and we know that this is purple, so that would be even, black must be odd. And therefore red even. Does that sound reasonable?
I guess I kind of lost track.
Okay. Let's say yellow is odd.
Okay.
Then I have 3
Okay, yeah.
And because I know that this one's different,
That's even.
then
Then you need
black...
one more even would have to be odd. Okay.
Yeah. So one more even would be red, because there are 2 black squares.
Right.
So then if instead I make yellow yellow even, so it's green, well, that's 1, 2, 3 evens, and 2 black squares would make even odd. Or too many. Therefore,
Right.
black must be
is
odd.
odd either way.
Okay. I thought that was correct, but I wasn't 100%
Yeah,
certain.
I lost track of it, and
Okay. Well, now purple can't be odd, because if it was odd, I'd have a checkerboard here. So purple is even, and yellow is odd.
column 4 has 4 green. Row 4 has 4 green.
And these two must be different. Oh, I could have put an odd there in the middle a while ago, because those had to be different. Oh wait, no, I just got this one to be green. Never mind.
Right. Those two are different.
Yeah. But it's not enough. It's only 4 odds.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These remaining 3 are even. That makes that odd. Makes that odd. 4 evens. So this one's odd. That one's even. Okay, so that one and that one is different. This one's also different. So this one's purple.
So the bottom of column 7 is yellow. And you can't have 6 odds. So those have to be even.
Odd and even. All right, mission accomplishment. So now we need to know the sums. Well, this has a 2 in it. 8 has to be one of those two. So this is either 2, 4 or 2, 6. And this is either 4 or 8. This is 1, 5 if it's 6. 1, 7 or 3, 5 if it's 8. So that's not that helpful. I do know that 9 has to be one of those two. Because you can't put 9 on the zipper line.
Right.
All of these, there has to be an 8 on one of these even digits. It can't go on this one because it's attached to that one. So either this one's 9 or that one is 9.
Look at column 3. Now, although there are 2 centers, one of those two could be 9.
One of them has to be 9, doesn't it? Because I couldn't put 9 as one of those two, or that one.
Oh,
So
right.
yeah, it's going to have to be one of those two.
Because those are all even there at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 9 is one of those two. 9 is one of these two. And 9 is one of those two, which takes this one out as a possibility. So that places 9 here. Just to
And
double
now
check. Can't go on the arms of the zipper lines. Can't go on the arms of the zipper lines. So yeah, then it has to go here. Can't go on the arms, not even. That must be 9. So now that one's not 9.
Which takes the 8 off of that. So now you can place 9 in box 3.
Oh, right, can't go there. So that's a 9, that's a 1. That's a 9, that's a 9. That's a 9, that's a 9, and that's a 9. And there.
Well, 5, the zipper, or well, okay. In box 3, the zipper, so that's either, yeah.
We can make that 2 or 3, 2 or 5, or 4 or 3. So yeah, if it's 5,
8,
if this is a
8 can
8
be
has to go
placed
in the
in
center.
box. Yeah.
This is either 2, 6, or a pair of 4s. If this was a 5, then 2 and 3 and 7 would be required. If this was a 7, we'd have 3, 5 there, and 3 paired with 4, 5 paired with 2. Okay, yeah. Has to be 2, 6 because they're in the same box. Those can be
That
a pair of
means,
4s because they're in different boxes.
well, column 8, the 4 has to be up in box 3. So it can't be a pair of 4s for the 8.
Right.
In that other zipper.
And the 4, 8 in row 4 as well because those are a 2, 6. And now this one
Right.
can't be 8 because this one over here is max 7. So that's 4, that's 8. This is either 1 or 3. Well, clearly
So it
it's
can't
not
be 1.
1. Because that's minimum 2.
It can't be 3.
Because that would be a 2 and a
Yeah.
1. So that's minimum 3. Minimum 2. Which, I can't make it a 4. It's 2 or 6. And since that can't be a 1, this can't be a 6. That's 2, that's 6, that's 2. 4 and 6. 2, 6. 6 and 1 makes 7. 4 and 3 makes 7. A 5 there. A 7 here for a 5 there. 7, not a 5. 1, 3 makes 5 there. And a 1, 3 pair here.
And
That's
the 9 zipper in box 1.
Well, it can't be 3
Bottom,
with 4 or 8.
right.
So that's 1, 8.
Well, in the other half, the zipper in box 9, the green half of it
Oh, right.
is 2, 4, or 6, and it can't be 6.
So 6 takes out the 3. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4. 2 and 4 pairs with 7 or 5 to make 9. You can't put 7 as one of these two, so 7 has to be one of those. And this can't be 7 because that's a 7, and of course it sees a 7. So that's 7 there. Takes out 7. This is 7 because that can't be. And since 3, 5 to make 8. 3 or 5 is going to pair with 6 or 4. Well, apparently that's an 8, which makes that a 1. 6 pairs with a 4, a 2 and a 6, 6 and a 2. That's 2 or 4. 4 pairs with 5. 3 here makes that an... Oh, these make 7.
4.
That's a 4. 4, 2, 4, 3, 5. 5, not 5s. 2 pairs with 7, making 3 and 7 over here.
The long zipper, box 5, the 2 pairs with 5.
I don't know why I keep thinking this is a 9.
And the 4 pairs with 3, box 5, yeah. 1 and 9.
1 and 7.
1 and 7.
1. 1
Sorry.
pairs with 8. I was just looking directly at the 9 in the middle.
Yeah.
So 6 and 8. Well, apparently this is not an 8 because of the 8 over there. So 6, 8, 3, 6, 8. 1 and 5, 1 and 5. These make 7. So 1, 3, 5. Which apparently that's a 3 and that's a 5. So that's going to be 2 and 4. So 6 here, 1 and 7, 7 and 1. Oh, we're done.
It's almost an hour, but...
Yeah, that was... It required a lot of thinking. Glum Hippo's in here.
Lots of parody party.
So we're looking for something related to World Tuning Fork. When was that? This video posted a year ago. So, well, I guess there are some newer puzzles. A year ago, March 1. So it has to be at least before March, but... Ah, here it is. It's a good thing I can guess. Digits in column 6. I feel like difficulty-wise it was about an average. Because while it was a long puzzle, I don't know if it was necessarily... I mean, it definitely made me think. But I felt like I was thinking throughout the whole time, or not... What is it I'm actually trying to say? Because that's not exactly the right meaning. I felt like we were productive the whole time. Maybe not necessarily as fast as we could have been, but I feel like we were making progress the whole time. I don't feel like we got bogged down in anywhere.
Yeah.
And the logic of the odd evenness was tough, but I feel like it wasn't like overly difficult. There were a few things that you had to like really think through, and we did sort of like multiple color the grid. But maybe it could have been easier if we focused on the left side, because that seemed to be where we were making the most progress, and kind of left this side alone until once we eventually got to it. I don't know. Average, very nice, sound reasonable.
Yeah.
Cool. Average seems to be what most other people are setting it as, so I'm happy with that. And I did save it into my notes. Yes, so I don't need those anymore. Next puzzle. Defrag by Mormagli? Does that sound right to you?
Sounds reasonable to me.
Alright, hopefully it's not too far off. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each purple line contains a set of non-repeating consecutive digits. These digits can appear in any order. Cells separated by a black dot contain digits where one digit is double the value of the other. Okay? This is an instance where the word each doesn't confuse me, as a throwback to yesterday. Because it maintains the plurality structure. It doesn't switch from a plural set to a singular set. Paste. And a link to the puzzle is in the chat now, if you'd like to give it a go. Trying to figure out where we're supposed to start looking. I guess we could start with box 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. I guess I can paste that over here. So the black dot where one digit is double the other. The reason I can't use 5, 7, or 9 is because those three digits are odd. So I would have to double the odd digit in order to get the larger of the two, and the 5, 7, and 9 all double to double-digit values, which isn't allowed in a standard Sudoku puzzle. And 6 and 8 can both be halved. They could be the larger of the two digits, and so they can be halved to 3 and 4, respectively. So that means I have to put a 5, a 7, and a 9 somewhere in box 1. Okay, I think I actually want to take a look at these two rows, and because rows 1 and 2 are 2 sets of the digits 1 through 9, I have 4 consecutive groups here. And then I've got these two consecutive groups which stick out. Now I use 1 through 9 twice each. All of the digits are used twice. Does that mean that these two that stick out from that group have to be those two? I think the answer is no.
They can't be. Because one of those is in box 1 with those two.
Oh yeah, obviously.
The other one could be, but...
Yeah. So I don't know if that was reasonable to consider at all. Now, what if I were to consider this group instead?
But can 3 and 6 be used on that black cropky dot in box 1? The answer is no. Because you can't get 3 consecutive digits if you take 3 and 6 in the middle of it.
Right.
Because you'd have 1 and 2, 4 and 5. Well, you could have 7, 8, 9. I was wrong. Sorry. You could have 3, 6 there.
Okay. Now, if we look at columns 1 and 2, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive groups. And so the remaining 3 have to find space among the sets that I have. I guess one question that I'd want to ask is, can I put 2 9s on the boomerangs? Because I can't put the 9 up here.
Right.
And so, if I were to make, say, this one, 7, 8, and 9, can I then make this 7, 9, and 8? Well, clearly I just did. So, that's not enough information. And I could do the same thing with 1, 2, 3, and make that a 4, 8 up there. Then that would end up being 9. What? Okay, OBS says it's reconnected. Alright, and we are back. Alright, phone says it's just connected back just fine. Let me go ahead and give chat a refresh on that side. Give Google Chrome a refresh as well. Pull up my analytics. And we're back. Alright. Alright, we should just be ready, since it reconnected. And it looks like everything's working on my side.
Looks like it's working on mine.
Cool. Then, let us continue. I really think that these first two columns are the thing that's most important. If I were to pull up a notepad, and bring this over here, then I have the digits 1 through 9 repeated twice. And I know that I have 5 sets of 3. So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I could do a 1, 2, 3 again, another 4, 5, 6, and I'm done. And then I would have 7, 8, 9 left over.
But you can't use 7, 8, 9 on the blue Kropke dot, or on the Kropke dot.
Right. Now, can I shift things around a little bit? Because on the black Kropke dot, I can have 1, 2. I can have 2, 4, 4, 8, or 3, 6. If I just organize them by their smallest digit, then 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8. I have a feeling that I'm going to have 1, 2 here. However, because I've got this one that sort of sticks out, what kinds of shenanigans could I do to make 3, 6 work? Well, I actually think I can't.
No. 2, 4 would, because you could have 3 in the other. Well, no, you couldn't.
Because then I would only have 1 as a possibility. So I think I have to use these 6 sets. Because if I did 1, 2, then whatever's left over here would do interesting things. But if I tried to do 2, 4, like you said, I could do 1, 1, 2, 3, but I couldn't do a second one because of the 2. So I'd have to put a 1 here if I did 2, 4. But then I have a 3 that cannot go down to 2 or up to 4 because...
Right.
Well, it would have to use a 1. I'd also have to use a 1 if I did 1, 3, 6. Because of the 3. So that would imply a 1. And this would imply a 1. The 1, 2 can imply anything. And 4, 8 would imply a 9. Because of the 8. So if I did 2, 4, and a 1, then I have to use 1, 1, 2, 3. That's a requirement. Then I don't have another 1, 2, 3. And I don't have another 2. So what do I do with this 3? Well, I don't have another 2, so it would have to go 3, 4, 5. So now I've used 2 4s. And 1 5, but the next 5 would have to go 5, 6, 7. So then the next 6 would go 7, 8. But now my 2 9s have to go 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. So I don't have a 7 or a 7, 8 to work with.
Right.
So these are just broken if I did 1, 2, and a 4. Yeah, because I'd have to do 2, 7, 8, 9s. And I'd have to use a 1, 2, 3. So yeah, so then I have an isolated 5, 6 that I can't do anything with. I could pair it with the other 4, but then 3, 5, 6 doesn't work. Yeah, so I'd have to do 7, 8, 9. I'd have to do another 7, 8, 9. And now I have the digits. I've already used 1, 2, and 4. But then this 3 would have to pair with 4 to go 3, 4, 5. But now I have 4, 5, 6, and an extra 6.
Okay, then put the outside digit.
The outside digit's already a 1.
Right.
Oh yeah,
And
and
you
I don't
can't
have a
make it a
second
9
4.
instead of a 1 because then you'd have to have a second 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna have to be a 1-2 pair.
Okay. And then just for completion, 1, 3, 6. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. And I'm using a 1, a 3, and a 6. So the other 6 can go 4, 5, 6. But then my 2, 4, 5 is not going to work together.
Right.
That's out. And then let's ask about 4, 8, and 9. So 4, 8, 9. So I have to do 7, 8, 9, and I have to do 2, 1, 2, 3s. And then I've got a 4, 5, 6, and a 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this can be 1, 2, or 4, 8. But it's one of the two.
Because 5, 6, 7 fits in between the 4 and the 8.
Right.
Well, could that be 1 on the outside then instead of the No, because you have 2 9s either way.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 9 has to be on the outside to pair with the 8.
Yeah. And then 1, 2 star gives me a lot of freedom because I have an extra wiggle room to
Right.
shift the digits around. Okay, I'm glad I covered all of that just for completion. Okay. how are these two connected? How are these two connected? Because I've got these two. So these three have to be the leftovers.
Right.
And if they're the leftovers, then these two are somewhat related. However, I could make these 1, 2, and 3, and a 9, 7, 8. And then I go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're not that related. Can I take a look at what's going on over here? Torak says row 5, column 2 has to be divisible by 3 because the purple lines contain 5 digits divisible by 3, 1 each. The divisible by 3 rule strikes again.
Yes, it does, and we never think of it.
Nope.
Even though it should be very obvious with this one.
It definitely should be. If we consider the values that are on a Renban line, which is another name for these purple lines that contain a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order, then let's just consider the middle digit of those 3 in this set. Then the digit below it is x minus 1, and the digit above x is x plus 1. If we add all of that together, that's x plus 1, x minus 1, and x, which is going to give us 3x plus 1 and minus 1. Well, the plus 1 and the minus 1 cancels out, and anything times 3 is therefore divisible by 3. And if we just look at the modulus of everything in the first 2 columns, then these were all divisible by 3. The 2 columns, 45 plus 45 is 90. 90 is divisible by 3. And if we look at the Kropke dot at the top of columns 1 and 2, well, you've got x and 2x. Add those together. Surprisingly, that's 3x. So those are a multiple of 3. So as Torak pointed out, the last digit must also be a multiple of 3. So this is 3, 6, or 9. Which would have been a faster way to identify that the remaining opportunities from the beginning we could rule those out. Now, if we consider these 4 that are in row 2, their sum entirely must be divisible by 3. What does that tell us about the 2 that stick out then? I want to highlight these 4 in green and then these 2 in purple. So, because we know that green and purple together sum to a multiple of 3. Because it's 3x plus 3y, you can factor out a 3. I think all that means is that because green is a multiple of 3, then purple is a multiple of 3. Because it started as a multiple of 3 if we look at them together. If we subtract a multiple of 3, then the remainder is still divisible by 3, so those two must be divisible by 3 when added together. Divisible by 3, divisible by 3, divisible by 3. There's too much left over there. If I looked at all of this, well, that would give us the 3 that stick out, and this one at the bottom. Okay. Another thing is that these 3 are divisible by 3, which means those 3 are divisible by 3. If I looked at everything, then anywhere there's a Renban, it's divisible by 3.
Everywhere
And
there's a
anywhere
crop.
there's a crop
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I don't know if that's useful. No, I made those green. Green and purple. And then I'm just going to highlight that one in blue. Okay. Do we know more than that? I guess if we pull this back up, then knowing that if I have a 3, then I know the top is 1, 2. So then I'd have a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, 6, a 7, 8, 9, and then I'd repeat 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. If I have 1, 2, and 6, then one of the 4, 5, 6s becomes 3, 4, 5. I could do 1, 2, 9, and then if I do 1, 2, 9, then we get a 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that 6 becomes 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we have 4, 8, 9, and we have a 5, 6, 7. That takes out the 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7. I just did this. Five, 6, 7, and another 1, 2, 3. Well, 4, 5, 6 is required by all of them. 4, 5, 6. The 1, 2, 3, if I started with 1, 2, 3, would have to go in box 7. I have 2, 4, 5, 6s, but I could put them anywhere. Same with the 2, 7, 8, 9s. However, if I look at the orientation of everything, so one of these is going to be the 1, 2, 3. And I've got 2, 7, 8, 9s. So they have to go in opposite sort of boomerang formation. So like I can't do 7, 8, 9 like this. So if I picked this one to be 7, 8, 9, then this one would have to be 7, 8, 9. But if I picked this one to be 7, 8, 9, then it could be either of those two. But then, but because this is 1, 2, 3, now I have to have 4, 5, 6 happen in 2 of them. So 2 of these are going to have to be 4, 5, 6. And they can't be those two, and it can't be that one, and it line up with either of the other ones. So this one of these down here, wait. I said that these two don't work together, right? It was this one and that one be 7, 8, 9. That one's 1, 2, 3, and then I have 2, 4, 5, 6s that line up and break each other. So that demonstrates that this one doesn't work, right? Did I work through that correctly? Because I have to have 2 groups of 4, 5, 6 and 2 groups of 7, 8, 9, and the 1, 2, 3 must end up in the bottom.
Right.
Because I would have to make 2 of these be the same. Then the top and the bottom don't work together, because I'd have 4 digits from... Right, I'd have to make 4 cells from 3 digits, which doesn't work. And then I can't make this one and that one work, because again, 4 cells from 3 digits, or 5 cells from 3 digits. So none of those would work together, whether I made it the 2, 4, 5, 6s or the 2, 7, 8, 9s. So 1, 2, 3 doesn't work. So that makes this 6 or 9. Okay. Do I have a similar problem with any of the other ones? 2, 7, 8, 9s and a 1, 2, 3. Well, now I can put the 1, 2, 3 up here. So I don't think that's a problem. But the 4, 5, 6 can't go in the middle. Or at least not with the 6 in the middle. I can put the 6 here. Oh, I couldn't put the 6 there. So that one couldn't be 4, 5, 6. So my 4, 5, 6 would have to be one of those 3. 7, 8, 9. We know one of those down at the bottom has to be 7, 8, 9. The 1, 2, 3 can't be at the top. It could be this one with the 3 up here. Is the 3, 4, 5, 6 a problem? I think it's going to end up being a problem. Okay. So to prove that one of the 7, 8, 9s has to go in the bottom, all I have to demonstrate is that these 3 cannot have any duplicates. And so these 2 can't be duplicate sets. I'd have 4 in the first column. These 2 can't be duplicates. They'd have 4 in the first box. And now these 2 can't be duplicates. I'd have 5 in the same box. So I can't duplicate any of these. So 7, 8, 9 must be at the bottom. Or one of 7, 8, and 9. Then, the other 7, 8, 9 must be the opposite orientation of whatever's in the bottom. So if it's this one, then that becomes 7, 8, 9. So then these two and that one must be the remaining 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 cannot be in the top. And I would get 1, 2 going horizontally, with 3 being in the vertical portion. The 4, 5, 6 has to have the 6 on the left side. I'm running out of brain space. Okay, I can't. So, what about the 1, 2, 3 down here? I know that proves the 1, 2, 3 down here. And 7, 8, 9 would be down here as well. Okay, if we look at the bottom one, because we put the 8 in the top and the 9 in box 4,
Right.
then the 7, 8, 9 has to go in box 7. From the proof that we've done already, that the top 3 Ren bands cannot have a duplicate set, that means the bottom 2 Ren bands are a 1, 2, 3 and a 7, 8, 9. Therefore, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7 as the remaining 3 Ren bands. Now, I have put 4, 8 in the top. So because there is a 4 in the top, the 4, 5, 6 has to be one of the bottom 2. Can I make 5, 6, 7 work? If I could, so let's start with 4, 5, 6 being the bottom one, just for simplicity. Then 5, 6, 7 would have to be the top. Because the 5 and the 6 cannot be the same as the middle. Actually, can I just prove that those two cannot be... Yeah, I can easily prove that those two cannot be both 4, 5, 6 and 5, 6, 7, that one of them would have to be 1, 2, 3, because 4, 5, 6, 7 is only 4 digits. Well, I have to have 5 different ones in box 4. So because of that, the one of the two has to be the top. And because I already said that it had to be the 5, 6, 7 that was on the top, because it's not the 4, 5, 6, because of the 4 in the top, then one of these two is 4, 5, 6. This is 5, 6, 7. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it doesn't really matter how I orient that, except now that I've proven that this is 5, 6, 7, and since And since this one here cannot be a 4 or 5, 6, or 7, then I know the 4, 5, 6 is on the bottom, and we get 1, 2, 3 here. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. We'd have a 9 here, so 9 would all come out. 4 and 8 there. Four, 5, 6, 7. So that's 4, or not 4. This one's 4. If this one's 1, 2, 3, then that one can't be 1, 2, 3. Seven, 8 is going to take a 7 out. So that's a possibility. So if I did 4, 8, and 9, it would have to look like this. Can I do anything more with these ones? Oops, sorry. I'm going to orient them top to bottom. So 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So that's top to bottom. And it would be 8, 4, 9. Okay. Let's take a look at this one again. So I have 1, 2, 6. Well, 1, 2, 3 cannot go in the top. 4, 5, 6 cannot go in the third position or the second position. So it's either the first one or the last two. 7, 8, 9 has to be one of the bottom two because it can't be two of the top three. So 4, 5, 6 is either in the first position or one of the last two, along with 7, 8, 9. I don't know if that's that useful. I know that 3, 4, 5, 6 in both of these groups cannot be these two. I mean, mostly for the fact that 4, 5, 6 can't be either of these two if 6 is in the middle. But I can't think of a reason to narrow anything more down. It's already after 10.
Yeah.
I
I'm not being
cannot
any help.
think of any other way to make more progress. So I think we're going to have to hit the stop button here and come back to this next week. So, yeah. I can't think of anything. Not seeing... Oh, Tolrak says they have an idea. Select all Renbands in boxes 1 and 4, including the 2 cells in box 2. Add onto that the Kropke dot, and everything is divisible by 3. So if you remove box 1 and 4, then the 2 cells must be divisible by 3. Okay, hold on, because I didn't get all of that first try. Select all Renbands in boxes 1 and 4. Doot, doot, doot. Okay, red. Including the 2 cells in box 2. Add onto that the Kropke dot, and subtract out boxes 1 and 4. The 2
Red is
cells...
still divisible by 3.
Right.
So the Kropke dot in box 2 is divisible by 3.
The remaining digit.
Right, which would be 3 or 6.
Which means this is 3 or 6. Well, we know that that one's divisible by 3. So that those together are divisible by 3. Thorax says that's as far as they got. Take out that, and take out that. Okay, so I'm going to bring those back to green and purple, and this one being blue. I wonder if there's more stuff like this. I couldn't find any. It's definitely possible. Couldn't find any yet. I know that the 3 going across here must be divisible by 3 because these 3 have to be divisible by 3. And I know that purple is divisible by 3, and then I know that this one's divisible by 3, and I know that those 3 are divisible by 3. Although, I guess that was just simply another proof that this one's divisible by 3. Because I'd seen that those were divisible by 3 along with that divisible by 3. I should have seen that those 3 combined were divisible by 3, which proves that one's divisible by 3. Could I go with this column?
Alright, well, we know the first 4 cells of the column together are divisible by 3.
Right. This is
And the next
divisible by
2 are.
3, so those are. Although we could have just shortcutted that by just looking at this.
Well, yeah.
And we'd have to prove that this was divisible by 3 to take those out and make that divisible by 3. But I guess if I add this all together, right? Let's make it orange. What are these 2? Let's not make them purple. Let's make them gray. we know that these three combined are well, they're x. Actually, let's just call them what their remainder is. 0, 1, and 2. Then I know that orange plus gray sums to 0, mod 3. Where I consider these two oranges or grays separate. So orange plus that one, those three together are 0 mod 3, and these three together are 0 mod 3. The argument I want to build towards is that if I subtract these two therefore have the same remainder. And I think that's true, because if I have x mod 3 is equal to y mod 3, or congruent to y mod 3, then if I take x minus o mod 3, then that must be congruent to y minus o mod 3. And that is true because if I take 0 and I subtract 1, then I get 2 mod 3. And that's clearly true on both sides. And if I subtract 2, then I get 1 mod 3. And if I subtract 0, then I'm still at 0 mod 3. Then, so that means that these two are the same remainder mod 3. But I don't know if that's helpful immediately. I mean, it does the same thing here, that those two are the same remainder mod 3. I guess it kind of makes those. This one is the same as those two mod 3. Those three combined. I don't know. Have I run out of brain space? Kind of feel like I have. Torak, do you have any insights? Because I think it's past the end. So, anything else that you see, Mama?
No.
Alright. Unfortunately, we're going to have to come back to this on Monday next week, but we will tackle this one first. So, that was Defrag by Mormagali. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And then let's pull this one up on Logic Masters Germany, see what the difficulty rating other people have been giving it is. Too much. Average. So, I guess our brains are not feeling an average puzzle at the moment, which is fine. Alright, we will come back to this next time on Monday of next week. Alright, that is going to be it for today. I can that up, and then I don't need this anymore. I'm going to go ahead and save that. That way we can pull it up next time. But we are out of this one today. I guess I'm going to go ahead and just click the thank you for watching screen. Thank you so much for everyone who watched. Thank you especially to Tilrak, who is here with us today. Aside from that, if you are interested in more content on this channel, that is going to be Sudoku Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I've been playing Monster Hunter World on Saturdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And I've also been playing Final Fantasy VI. I will try to play that more throughout this week. I will not be able to this weekend. And then, yeah, so thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.